Oh, hey, how you doing? Just a little light reading here today. This is not what the video is about. Hope you guys enjoyed that there. You know what this video is about, man? It's going to be about answering some questions, some pet peeves, and I'm going to start off with these hats. I am not a fashionista, okay? I jokingly did a video on it was my first ever fashion videos because so many people keep asking me about the things I'm wearing in the videos, and it's always the hat. I'm gonna put one on while I'm doing this video because I just did this video. I'm probably gonna leave things out now, but something about my hair, this piece of hair was hanging down the middle, and the way the crop was, it looked like I had this weird mohawk going on in my head. That's why I wear the cap, because you lose your hair as you're getting older. It just looks funny on screen. On one hand, I don't care what you think. On the other hand, if I look at myself and I don't like it, I do something to change it, which is what we should all be doing. There's a little bit of advice for you. But on these caps, just real quick, somebody just sent me a message. I looked all over Amazon for this cap. I can't find a link. I didn't get it on Amazon. I want you to see the pattern here. This is called herringbone twill. You know how I found out about this cap? I was watching, I watch a lot of old war pictures and everything else, and I noticed the caps on the guys. So I went on eBay and I looked up World War II uniforms. That's how I learned it. That's what you have to do. When you see something, you can't be lazy. I say that in my comments sometimes. If I say to you, don't be lazy, I'm not saying you are lazy. I'm not accusing you of being lazy. I'm saying don't be lazy. As far as like a cap that holds a pencil, well, all I did was cut that open. That's all I did. I made a hole so I could stick the pencil. Why is that not working now? I do this all day long and I never have a problem. Now, that's all I did. I cut a hole in here, right? So I could stick the pencil in there. This is not a cap designed to hold a pencil. It's just a thing for me, right? Before I was wearing a cap all the time, when I had more hair, I'd stick the pencil behind my ear. But I don't like my big Dumbo ears as it is, which is why I wear my cap like this. I pull it down over my ears. Now listen, it's not the cap, it's how you wear the cap, okay? If you get the same thing I own, if you like the way something looks on me or somebody else, and then you go out there and you get it, it might not work the same on you, just so you know. But that's how this works, right? You see something you like, you go, that's a military cap. Let me look up military caps. Then you'll eventually figure it out. But for those of you who want to know, go to eBay and just type in WW2 HBT cap. It's that simple. It's funny to me because I'm very appreciative that any of you watch at all. And so, but at the same time, this question, it's if you look at my comments, whenever I'm wearing one of these caps in the video, there's almost always a question there where to get it. And I can't, it gets overwhelming. I'm just typing the same thing over and over and over and over again. So I'm just putting that out there. The reason I have the two different caps, and I do want to show you something from a friend, is because if I'm wearing trousers, right? If I'm wearing any kind of camouflage trousers or the shorts, I'll wear the green cap because I don't want my camo to clash. If I'm wearing a solid pattern, solid color, then I'll wear this one. Now that's not like some weird fashion thing that I learned somewhere. It's just what I want to do with my own mind. This brings me to one of my first pet peeves that we'll discuss today, which is women's advice for men on clothing and how you're dressing. Okay? Because recently there's been a couple that popped up and I'll watch like the first minute or so and I got to turn it off. This is advice coming from women. So now on one hand you think, oh, that's good because they're trying to tell you how to dress to attract women. Dress for success. That sort of thing. I get it. But you can tell I also don't care. I'm dressing the same way I've dressed since I was 15. I'm wearing camis. I'm wearing t-shirts with stuff on it. I got a friggin' mullet because that's what was cool in the 80s, and that's all that matters to me. Okay? But you have to keep in mind that women are going to dress you for whatever their outlook for you is, right? So they're telling you you should dress a certain way to make yourself seem like this particular type of person to attract a woman. Okay. But then there's the women that once they get you, they're going to dress you a certain way so you look like an idiot to other women. Or they're going to overfeed you so you get fat, so you're probably less attractive to other women. That's what they do, man. A man meets a woman, falls for her. Really, as far as physically, he really never wants her to change. That's who he fell for. That's what he wants. That's what he'd like to keep. Women, even before you're married, they're already thinking about ways to change you. That's just how they're friggin' wired, man. That's just how it is. I had a friend who was married to this woman years ago, and I remember it was around Christmas time. I bought him both these really nice flannel shirts that were matching because to me, I thought that was funny. And they liked them. I got pictures of them wearing them and everything. And then I remember it was a bunch of us guys over, and he's in the bedroom with her, and they're arguing in a fun way. And he comes out with this ridiculous, stupid outfit on that he knew was stupid. He was so positive it was stupid. He had to wear it and show it to us. And when he came out, even before he could say anything, we all laughed at him. Because she was dressing him to look like an idiot so women wouldn't be attracted to him. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, when women are giving men advice on things, it's because there's a reason for it. It's the same thing with the media and everything else. It's the same thing, man. Like there's just so much nonsense out there. The video I made before this was like a 40-minute video. It was pretty good. And there's no way I'm going to remember everything I already said, but I just couldn't keep it because it was just bothered me. I will say I don't wear trucker caps because typically they don't have enough volume here for me to pull it down over my ears. This is one of Dave's caps. So I just wanted you guys to see that. Because, you know, Dave makes really cool stuff and he's got some swag. And Dave's got a YouTube channel. I'll try to remember to put a link to it down here. He wants to do more stuff. It's just funny about Dave because he takes everything to the nth degree. He's such a pro with everything he does. When he does videos, it's going to have music and editing and, you know, there's going to be like transitions between shots and there's all, and I'm like, dude, this is all I'm doing right here. I set the camera up, I talk to it, I take it off, maybe I clip a little from the beginning, a little at the end, and I put it out there. Sometimes even before I watch it. You don't have to get crazy with this shit. I love YouTube. YouTube is great because I watch things I'm interested in. Whatever the topic is. So if you want to talk about the news, I don't care. If you want to talk about ghosts or UFOs or Astrovan stuff, working out, being healthy, cooking, whatever it is, you can watch that topic. And if it happens to be political in nature, you can look up that topic and watch, you know, clips of interviews just on that topic. You don't have to watch some stupid hour-long show or something where they're peppering a bunch of things where we're trying to brainwash you with bullshit, okay? I just want to say, fear is a thing. They're using fear all the time to steer us down this meandering river of bullshit, and at every turn, there's another regulation, or there's another tax, or there's just some way that they're making your lives more miserable and more controlling and trying to keep you less free and more divided and keep your mind occupied so you never know what the truth is. That's what's happening. That's why with YouTube, you can pick what you want to watch, you know, and it's pretty cool. And, you know, it's people doing their own thing and they're just real human beings. That's why I like it. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm compelled to share the stuff that I share. Something else I noticed today. I've got this thing here. It's a lid. Just a simple lid. I've had this for 30, 35 years. I'm showing it to you because in the last few months, I have watched YouTubers, like pro YouTubers, okay, that are living in their van lifers. And a lot of them are cooking in cast iron, and but they don't have lids. And they're complaining that they don't know how to get the top of the food cooked right, and the stuff's burning, and there's all this stuff happening. It's crazy to me that they don't know this, but it's okay. So here's the deal. You just get yourself a lid, man. This lid fits on all my cast irons and a bunch of other pots I have. I literally found this in an attic, the attic of a beach house from Seaside Park, New Jersey in like 1989 or 90 or something like that. So with cast iron, the key is heat management. Don't turn the heat up all the way, or if you do, turn it down as you're going. And then before things are cooked all the way, turn off. And, you know, as long as you got this on there, you're going to steam the top. The beauty of that is, too, let's say you're cooking some eggs. You cover them. Let's say I like them up. But you got to get the yolks just at least a little bit cooked over, you know. Make them as runny as you want. You'll learn what you got to do. But the idea is before they're done, you turn off the heat. You let them steam finish. And the steam in that pan is also going to make it so they're less likely to stick to the pan as well. I always use butter and cast iron. But just do that. I watched a guy today, I guess he's Australian. He was in Australia, and he was a really cool dude. Lives out of a troopy, and he's on these cliffs, and he's down there. He's saltwater fishing with a freshwater pole. He's catching fish. Then he goes in these pools, and he's pulling out rock lobsters. And he goes to cook them. And he's complaining. I guess previously he had used tinfoil before. And he's complaining about the tinfoil. It blows off in the wind and everything else. Like, dude, go to a thrift store. Go to a swap meet. Get yourself some friggin' pans. It's like, I'm like a saint. Anyhow, that's that. Man, there was a whole bunch of stuff I talked about in the other video. Okay, the pet peeve thing with YouTube in general. I really don't like clickbait stuff. I try to never do that. If I've done that, point it out to me, I'll make it right. I promise. When you see a video, like a thumbnail, and the picture in the thumbnail has nothing to do with the video, they never show it to you, right? Or if the title is such that you expect the video to be about that, and then the video is not about that whatsoever, what I do is I don't watch the video, and then I block that channel so I never have to see it again. That's just how I am. Now, you might think that's a little extreme, whatever. Okay. But that's the way I live my life. I haven't watched organized sports in years. I don't watch any movies, certain actors. You know, it's a thing. If you're an actor, you should just shut the hell up, because you're actually hurting yourself by talking about politics and whatnot. We all have opinions on things, you know. But, you know, if you're not well-versed in something enough to where you can speak, you should be able to take any subject and understand it well enough to where you could talk about it in a positive way and talk about it in a negative way. You should be able to tell me what the pros and cons for anything is. If you can do that, then I'll listen to what you have to say. But if you're always coming at everything from one angle, usually it's a political perspective, right? There's people with an agenda out there. And if it's always coming from that one thing, then I can't really listen to you anyhow, right? So it's just one of those things. Like, if there's certain people out there, and I've watched their movies for years, but then I've heard them say a bunch of stupid stuff, I will go out of my way to avoid ever watching anything they ever do again. I'm not as strict with that, like with the older stuff. Like, there's certain musicians, I'm not going to get into it too much right now, whose music is like the soundtrack to my life. And, you know, now later in life, they've come out and they are just morons and promoting socialism and a bunch of other stuff that's bad for all of us. I have friends that they won't ever listen to their even music again, but because the music reminds me of good times, I don't let that get too much into my head. You know what I'm saying there? So just throwing that out there. The whole bait and switch thing is a thing for me. So if you see me post a video up and there's a thumbnail and there's a woman there who's looking pretty sexy, she's going to be in the video. I promise. That should be happening. I think next month I'm doing a thing. I'm supposed to go see Wonder Hussy again, I think. There's going to be President's Day. There's supposed to be like a swap meet thing or something. So if that's still happening, I'll be there. She's always telling me it's fun for the fans. Like, people show up to meet her and they'd like to meet me and take pictures and all that stuff. So if I can do it, if I can set the van up and put the awning up and hang out, and if I bring stuff to sell, I won't be giving it away. Maybe I'll do that too. Maybe help her with some of the car part stuff, unload some of that stuff and all that. So that could be fun. And then in March, I'm supposed to have a friend come down. Corinne, if you're still coming, let me know. And if she comes, I think we're going to probably go to the Saline Valley again, the hot springs there. We'll be taking the North Pass in, which will probably be kind of treacherous because there's going to likely be snow there in the high peaks. We're doing the North Pass, and that could be kind of kooky. That could be a little crazy. Snow and off-road, that's a recipe for disaster. So might be fun for you to watch. Probably get some really good footage with that. We'll probably be out there for 4 or 5 days out there. That could be a good time. My channel has flattened out a little bit. The subscriptions keep going up, but the money's going down and everything else. And that's my fault because I'm not putting enough effort into this, and I admit it. You know, me driving in the truck, telling you stuff, doing what I'm doing now. It's not enough adventure for you guys and all that, and I understand. It's coming. But please understand, I work for a living. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I don't make enough money on YouTube to where that's all I could do. If it was like that, and eventually it might be that one day, if I could get to that point where I don't have to actually work. I got a lot going on. Like, surviving in this city costs money. The house in Arizona costs money. I got family stuff going on that costs me money. There's just stuff happening. And it's a constant drain on me. And I'm a little worn out by it. Believe me, I think about it a lot. If sometimes I think I should sell that house, cut my sister out of get her thing and walk away from that everything and just get a nicer vehicle and just become like a permanent traveler with a good kit of tools. I could do that. It crosses my mind, but I'm comfortable. I got a pretty good setup here. It's not that bad. We all have stresses in life. I'm dealing with it. It'll be fine. And I promise the content will become more entertaining and better as time goes. I just been locked in with a particular client now for coming up on 2 years. It's been keeping me so busy, and I need to pull away from it a little bit and do some other projects for some other people and make more time to do things I need to do that will also entertain you. It is a weird thing. For those of you that don't recognize this, I get some weird comments sometimes. The comment I mentioned earlier about the cap, where do you get it? I think I mentioned this already. He's like, I'm on Amazon, I can't find it. It's an eBay thing. I just talked to you about how to find that. I get a lot of questions on what I'm wearing, what I'm doing, and all that. But a lot of the questions are coming from people that it doesn't seem to me like you're putting this into perspective. It's all of us that put out content. We have lives. We got stuff going on. So we can't always drop everything to take the time to put into solving your issues. Like, some of the questions you really want, it would take me a while to kind of type out what you're asking me when you just don't have to be lazy. I did the one on the shoes the other day, right? The barefoot shoe thing. And somebody wanted to know, he didn't understand. I don't understand, lumbar support. What is it? Flat barefoot shoes? How does that work? Dude, look it up. And I said to him, don't be lazy. I wasn't calling him lazy. So forgive me if I come off a little harsh sometimes, okay? I'm a man, and I'm going to talk to you like you can be talked to like that, all right? So just, you got to figure it out. But just, if you are curious about anything, if it's the barefoot shoe movement, type in barefoot shoe movement. Tons of research, man. Tons of research. It's there. You will find it. I can't take the time in every video I do when it comes to, like, if I show you the shoes, to tell you about the whole history of the barefoot shoe, why it's all good, because then that video is going to be an hour long. There's going to be 30 minutes of that in it. So do that. It's like when I found this hat, I think I mentioned it earlier already. I was watching old films, saw the uniforms, typed in World War II uniforms, figured out, found it, right? Like, I've been working out, staying fit, keeping the muscle tone going. So, but I noticed that I was having an issue with keeping muscle tone up, and it's not, I don't work out, I don't go to the gym, but I do my push-ups, pull-ups, throw some curls around, burpees, things like that. I do a whole band routine. Some of you have seen it. Throw the hammers around, which I'm going to do tonight. I haven't done it in a while. But I wanted to figure out how to do that. I'm not going to take testosterone. If you take testosterone, then your body stops producing it naturally, and that's a road I don't want to go down. But there are certain herbs you could take. So I did some research. There was a guy on Rogan. There's a few other things out there. So I've been taking this supplement, and now I have abs. I've been keeping a pretty slim waistline and keeping it together for quite some time now. And for many years, I've been doing intermittent fasting. So I don't eat for 15, 16 hours after I eat at night until the next day. So I typically don't eat till after 11 or so. There's these little tricks, you know. I've been taking 2 liver pills every morning for years. And I always credited that with keeping me healthy and being able to maintain some muscle mass. So these are just things. And I'm telling you this because you could do this too. If you're curious about something, look it up. If you want to know about something, look it up. If I say something that inspires you, look it up. And when you look things up, try to read the positives and the negatives. Always try to do that. Weigh things out for yourself. I cannot answer all your questions. I'm not talking about you typing me questions. I'm saying my content can't answer all the questions you have in life. But hopefully, the stuff that I talk about and share here and all that inspire you enough to where you're curious about certain things, and so you can look this stuff up and then you'll know. I don't think you should ever take anything anybody tells you at face value. How do you know they even know what the hell they're talking about? But if you hear something you haven't heard before that turns a gear in your mind, then you should do some research. And that's the beauty of YouTube. And that's why YouTube is better than television. TV is a friggin' problem, man. You know, even HBO. When I got HBO years ago, I got it for the boxing. And when the boxing stopped, I wanted to get rid of it, but there was a few shows I liked at the time. But a lot of the shows are peppering in revisionist history and total bullshit. A lot of that woke thing. You know, it really bothers me because even movies, if there's a proven thing, like the laziest thing they do is the whole superhero thing, the comic book thing. It's lazy. They do it because they got a built-in audience because of comic books. Or if you take a movie like Ghostbusters, let's say. It was a great movie back when it came out, right? So you're going to take that movie that's got a built-in audience, and now you're going to do a new one where it's a whole female cast. No, I don't have anything against women if they're funny. If the script is good, that was a friggin' flop, man. So there's a ton of movies that they're trying to reinvent things where they're screwing us over. It's like they're taking advantage of us, and they're getting you in there because this was a thing at one time. It was really good. We'll get all these people to watch it, and you know what? We're going to write a storyline in there that's nonsense. We're going to try to get them to believe a bunch of BS, and they're going to watch it because they loved it before. They loved it 20 years ago. So that audience is going to come back, and now we're going to put a bunch of bad ideas in their minds. That's all that's going on all the time. It's all programming. Again, that's why YouTube is good. You don't have to watch any of that stuff. And I don't know if I said this already, because I said it earlier when I did the video before. But if the whole thing about the bait and switch thing, the clickbait thing, I was talking about a moment ago. If I didn't say it right, I'm going to say it again. And if I'm reiterating it, I apologize. But again, I will block those channels if it's bullshit. I don't want to see it anymore. And that's what we should all be doing. And that's what's been happening with news, cable news, and all that stuff. They know it. Hollywood knows it. Things are changing a little bit, hopefully in our favor. Right now, it's a weird time. It's just a weird time. I mean, the last 4, 5, 6 years, there's been so much BS out there. They're trying to convince us of all this nonsense. And I just want to remind you of something. I'm 57 years old. I've been around long enough to where I remember 50 years ago what they were telling us. When they were telling us that we were heading into an ice age, you know, and oil will be depleted by the end of the 1980s. and we'd all be dead from starvation by the year 2000. That was in Time magazine. That was all over the place. That's what they were telling us. Didn't happen. Every 6-8 years or so, there's a new thing. There's a new thing. And they use all this new stuff and they give it to us with all this bullshit from lies. And then they're working hand in hand. I really think the CIA's got something to do with the movie business. You know what I'm saying? Because they're all working in cahoots. You hear nonsense, but then a movie comes out that supports the nonsense, and it's all complete fiction. And what they do is they use this to take money out of your pockets, more regulation, all these things that they do to make your lives more miserable, make you less free, keep you so preoccupied. And even with the news, like, how often does something happen? The media blows it out of proportion. They burn down cities because of it. And then the truth comes out later. It's too late now. And there's no repercussions for it. The same people that lied to you still have their jobs. It's a problem for me, man. That's a problem for me. I've told this story before. I was at a wedding in the 2000s, early 2000s. And in LA, you go to a wedding, you're going to meet all kinds of interesting people in the entertainment business, that sort of thing. And I met this woman, and she asked me what I did. That's the first thing they ask you out here. What do you do? And I told her. We're having a good time. And I said, well, what do you do? And she said she was on the news. She was a newscaster. I didn't know who she was, never heard of her. Wasn't really watching it much back then either. And my face just must have given it away because she was like, oh, you got a problem with the news? I was like, well, yeah. Because my problem is you show up to some event. You don't know anything, but you start creating a narrative that the majority of the time turns out to not even be accurate. But then there's no apologies for it or anything. You don't ever go back and correct yourselves. It doesn't matter anyhow, because what you just did is already in people's minds. And by the time the truth comes out, it doesn't matter, because there's already been 2 or 3 things that you've also lied to them about that eventually get corrected. Maybe truth comes out, doesn't matter, because now there's the new thing that you're lying about. So you got people today that are upset with, a particular political person, right, who's running for president, who's not going to go to jail. So all this stuff that's been said, it's all not true, all the lies, but people are still upset, still mad, still hate somebody based on lies that have been proven to not be true. This is the media. I remember in the 90s, like the early 90s out here, this is one of the first times it jumped out at me. It had jumped out at me back home a few times, reading the paper, when they contradict themselves. Sometimes there's a headline, and there's a whole story you can read in the paper, and it's all bullshit. You get to the last paragraph, and they basically tell you everything you just read is just hearsay or whatever. Yeah, because most people don't even read the whole article. Well, there's a lot of people, some of you watching, you see a headline, that's enough for you. And you have that's what they do this on purpose. I was watching news. I think the woman's name is Beverly White, black lady. I think she was on Channel 5 News. And I'll never forget it, because there was a bombing. They didn't know who did it. She admits, well, we don't know who did it yet. And the next sentence, she was referring to whoever did the bombing as a militia group, because at that time they were doing this militia thing. All militias are bad and everything else. And they're using words like terrorism and things like this with militia groups. So they're putting an idea in your mind. They're telling you how to feel about it. And it's all based on bullshit, because they just told you they don't know who did it. So I'm just saying, you've got to pay attention. They're counting on you not paying attention. How the hell are you supposed to think about anything anyhow? You can't drive down the street without being bombarded with billboards and friggin' stuff on the radio and pot smoke everywhere you go. And it's just crazy. It's crazy. The whole world is topsy-turvy, upside down nonsense. There's a lot of nonsense going on. I'm telling you, this asteroid can't get here quick enough, man. I don't know. I don't think this is a great video. Again, if it's not, oh well, c'est la vie. The next one will hopefully be better for you. But hopefully I answered some stuff and entertained you a little bit. I think the first one was better. You can't do it like twice in a row like that at this length, unscripted like that, and really remember everything. But I will say, again, YouTube's great because you can find whatever you want. You can learn how to do new things. You can get a bunch of information, any topic that you want. I just suggest that if it's something that is kind of political, or, you know, if there's something that they're using in politics that is polarizing, please try to read it from different perspectives. You know, I think I said this already. I can't remember if I said it now or if I said it before. You should be able to take any subject, especially when it comes to the political thing, and talk about it where you give positives and negatives. You should be able to see it from a good way and a bad way. You should be able to argue both ways. If you could do that, it's going to help you to be a better rounded person and see the world in a more even-keeled way, right? That just takes time. You got to do it. Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. Maybe that'll be the title of the video. You know, so like advice, pet peeves, and don't be lazy. I don't know. I'll come up with something. But thanks again for being here. I really do appreciate it, because for those of you who actually listen to me blather like this, you're special kind of people. You might need to seek help. Have a good day. Be good to one another. I hope some of this resonates with somebody out there. You know, we're all living on this rock, man, that's floating in the middle of nowhere, spinning at thousands of miles an hour. You know, and everything around us is, you know, being manipulated in a way, and it's really screwed up. So just be kind to the people that you engage with, and you know, try to keep a positive outlook. All right. Try to be healthy, get enough sleep, try to keep your stress levels down. Try to be as healthy as you can be. It's not about living forever. Nobody gets out alive. But while you're here, if you want less problems as you age, body problems, sleeping problems, diabetes, all kinds of issues, if you don't want those issues, start establishing healthy habits now. Do it now. I care about you. So have a good day. Be good to one another. I'll catch you guys in the next one.